Hi guys, I hope you're all doing well. So today's video is slightly different. It's nothing fashion or beauty related. It is about YouTube, which is exactly why you have clicked on this video, because you are watching YouTube. So I thought I would do a little tips video for starting a YouTube channel, because I get a lot of questions on Instagram and Twitter and YouTube and all kinds of other platforms, as do most other YouTubers and bloggers, asking how to start up, what equipment we use, what the best advice would be to someone wanting to start a channel, all those kind of questions. So I thought I would just make a video explaining how I started my channel and tips for starting your own. So to start with, I actually had a YouTube channel way back in the day when I was about 17 or 18 years old, so that's about 7 years ago now, and I had a little channel and it was called Jessica SX, and it was fairly shocking, to be completely honest. I filmed on a webcam. I remember that I used to film like all these little videos and I'd sit on my bedroom floor and I'd set the tripod up on, not the tripod, sorry, I'd set like books up and then I'd have like a little digital camera on my webcam. So I would just make all these videos, and then I remember being so proud of myself one day because I'd afforded this like video recording camera, you know, the ones that are like kind of long and then the screen flips up, the old school like 90s video cameras. And I remember being so proud of myself for saving up for it, but the video quality was really bad on it. Basically that was like my first venture into YouTube. All my videos were like beauty related. I didn't really do hauls or anything because I didn't really have any money. I like had a part-time job and I was studying and whatever. So most of my videos were actually like hair tutorials and things like that. My first ever YouTube video, which you're never going to be able to find because I think it got deleted, was how to do the Lauren Conrad braid, because me and my best friend Tash, who still does YouTube as well, she's under Tash Mackay now, and she did one that was like how to curl your hair with straighteners, and you could barely hear her, but her quality was good. And mine was the Lauren Conrad braid, and my sound was good but my video was shocking, like you could barely see me, and I did like the little braid across the front of my hair. Basically like the most typical 2000 and whatever year it was hair, but I really liked the hairstyle and it was actually one of my most watched videos, so I guess it went down well. So that channel did actually kind of disintegrate. I wouldn't say I lost the love for it, but I got quite embarrassed by it because it was still at a time when no one really did YouTube, no one really knew about YouTube, all that kind of stuff. And then I basically started a blog because I felt that a blog was the easiest way for me to be online without people ever finding it. So I would still take pictures on like just a digital camera. I would take them in my house, like set the phone up and like self-timer it, or set the camera up and self-timer, and I literally just did outfit posts, which is where Copper Garden began. So Copper Garden began, I'd say, when I was about, I mean, I'm being completely like not specific with years and ages and stuff because I don't actually know the time periods, but I started Copper Garden as a blog, and I can't remember what I called it originally. I think it was called like Standing in Stilettos or something, but I don't wear stilettos, so God only knows why I called it that. And then I remember having the conversation with my friend Toby about what I should call my YouTube channel, and he came up with Copper Garden. So I did not think up my blog name. Whenever anyone asks me in interviews or just in general conversation, I did not think up Copper Garden. It was not my idea. It was nothing to do with me. It was his idea. I was kind of not really sold on it at first because I was like, oh, is it going to go down well? Is it going to be a good name? And it stuck and I love it now. So that is that. And obviously this channel has now been going for around, I want to say 4 or 5 years. I'm not really sure. However, I don't consider myself to have done YouTube for that long, because I only really became like consistently uploading about 2.5 years ago. So I'd say that's when I really started YouTube, because before then I'd upload like a video here and there. It wouldn't really be anything that I did regularly or that I really thought about or anything like that. But in second year of uni I really started to knuckle down. I was uploading twice a week, I was doing vlogs, I was really on it, and that is when I consider that I started YouTube. I'm actually now a full-time blogger and YouTube, which is really like amazing to think that something that I started in my bedroom so many years ago with a webcam is now something that I do for a living. And I know every YouTuber says that, and I know everyone's always like, oh my god, I can't believe this is my job. But honestly, like, I think to be able to say at 25 and even younger, like I'm probably one of the old ones now, but to be able to say that you've literally created a job for yourself from absolutely nothing is quite an achievement. Like, I made my website from scratch. Obviously now I've had help with it. My cousin is a web designer, but I started that blog from scratch. I started my YouTube from scratch. I taught myself editing. I taught myself how to use a camera. I taught myself how to do all these things by myself, and I think it's such an achievement to say that I'm now full-time with it, and so many other people are, and I think it's so amazing. Like, that's why I think it's really important to support each other and all that stuff. Anyway, that's basically my backstory in YouTube. So I've been on and off doing it for a while, but specifically doing it for about 2.5 years. And one thing I really want to stress is that I don't have a huge following. Like, I'm not a pro at this. I'm not someone with 10 million or a million or 100,000. Like, I literally have like 15,000 of you that watch these videos. And to be honest, I don't consider myself a pro, but to be able to give advice on how to start a channel, I feel like I'm quite good at, because I have started a channel, I have gained an audience, however big or small that might be, and I feel like I just wanted to share my personal advice on how I think is best to start a channel and all that kind of stuff. So let's get into the actual tips, shall we? Now we've got my stuff out of the way. So the first tip is to create a channel. Obviously you need a channel to be able to upload videos, and I would say from the get-go to make sure that you create yourself a banner and you give yourself a name. Whether that's your name or whether it's like something you've come up with, like Copper Garden. Give yourself a name and make sure that you make a banner, like header on YouTube. Doesn't have to be too fancy. A lot of people literally just do fancy writing. If you go on dafont.com, you can actually download fonts on there, so you can make like a fancy font. And I actually edit all of my artwork on a place called PicMonkey. And if you go on Google, there is 101 YouTube templates for headers. It does take quite a while to like jiggle the writing around and make sure it looks perfect. Like, you have to keep re-uploading it and stuff, but that's probably my best tip, is to make your channel look presentable and look professional from the get-go, because if you do, it'll make you feel better, it'll make you feel more like you want to upload, because it's like, it looks like an actual YouTube page. I know that sounds really stupid to say, but I find that when my YouTube looks really aesthetically pleasing to me, I want to upload more. So that's like tip number one. Tip number two is to create the content that you love and that you want to talk about, because if you're not talking about what you love and things that you're passionate about, it becomes quite draining, and I think it becomes almost like a chore, so you won't end up wanting to do it. I, for example, have gone through stages of my channel. So while I was at university, I was doing a lot of fashion content. I was promoting fashion design courses. I was talking about what I did at uni, what I loved doing at uni, how to get into uni courses for fashion design, all that kind of stuff, because that was what I loved and really was passionate about at the time. I've gone through stages of doing loads of fitness content because that was what I loved at the time, and now, like, consistently it's been very fashion and beauty focused, although not tutorials because I'm not very good at makeup, but it's always had like lookbooks and fashion content and beauty content, and now it's become the most me I think it's ever been. So the way that you see Copper Garden now, admittedly I don't get up the amount of content and the amount of variety that I want to, but what you see now is stuff that I'm genuinely passionate about. So you see videos about travelling, you see videos about fashion, like lookbooks and stuff. There's videos coming on skincare. I guess what I'm trying to say is just put out what you want to put out. Don't feel pressured to do a makeup tutorial because someone else has done one. Don't feel pressured to talk about the latest beauty release because someone else is doing it, or to put a lookbook up for back to school because everyone else is doing that. Literally just do what you want to do and what makes you happy, because ultimately the people watching your videos are watching them because they want to watch you and they want to know about you. They don't care if you're following trends or anything else, they literally just love you for the way that you are. So it's really important to stick true to yourself. And the next tip is to be consistent. Now, I know I'm kind of kicking myself here because I'm not always consistent. There has been times when I haven't uploaded on time. All through the time in South Africa, I think they uploaded at different times of the week, every week. But over the last couple of months, I've been really consistent with posting on Tuesdays, Thursdays and Sundays, and I think it's really important to have a schedule. For example, my favourite YouTubers are the Coney Jolies and the Mitchellacks, and they always upload on the same day or time, and I find it really refreshing as a viewer because I know when to expect some content. So I know that every day at 6 o'clock there's going to be a video from the Coney Jolies, and I know every Sunday near enough there is a video from the Mitchellacks, give or take the odd week. So it's really important to kind of make sure that the people that love your videos know when to expect a video, because there's nothing worse than going on YouTube and not knowing if your favourite YouTuber has uploaded or not. It's just great to be able to build up that rapport. Like, you want people to be able to like keep up with your life and keep up with what you're talking about and what you're uploading and that kind of thing. So the next point I wanted to stress is that you probably need something to film on if you're going to start a YouTube channel. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. You don't need to go out and spend £1,000 on a camera and some fancy studio lighting. You can just start with an iPhone or just a little DSLR camera that you can pick up for about £100. Basically, YouTube equipment is something you build and something that you buy if you want to buy. Every YouTuber uses slightly different equipment. We all have different microphones. We might not have studio lights, we might have ring lights, we might not have any lights. It's basically personal preference, and it depends what you actually film. So for example, if you're going out and doing fancy travel videos, then you might need a more compact camera, you might need a GoPro, you might need a drone, whereas if you're sitting down and filming videos, you're going to need different equipment like ring lights, lights and microphones and all that kind of stuff. This is kind of things that you want that improve the quality, but you don't need them from the get-go. You kind of build those things up over time. I think it's took me 2 years and I still don't have that much equipment. I still prefer to use my iPhone over a vlogging camera, and that might be a bit of a strange thing to some people, but I just think you don't need to spend loads of money on equipment to make YouTube videos. There's big YouTubers that still use their iPhones and still use like webcams and stuff. It's your personality that is ultimately what people want. They don't always care about the quality as much. So point number 5 is to consider your background of the video. Whether that's a plain wall or a patterned wall, or whether you're sat on your bed, whether you're sat on your sofa, you could be in front of your makeup table. You need to think about the background of that sit down video. Travel videos and movie roundy vlogs and stuff are a little bit different because obviously that is you going about your everyday life. But when you're doing a sit down video, really think about the background, because you don't want things in the background that look messy. You kind of want to keep it quite clean and quite nice, because otherwise it's very distracting. For example, you don't want to have a huge pile of washing next to you, and you don't want to have like a bedside table that's covered in loads of chocolate wrappers or anything like that. You kind of want to think about the fact that your viewers need to be focused on you and what you're talking about. They don't want to be focused on the chocolate wrapper on your bedside table, which, to be honest, I'm now really wanting chocolate because I've said it. Tip number 6 is to think about your editing software. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean you need to pay for editing software. Depending whether you have a Microsoft or an Apple iPad or laptop, you have a software built in. So Apple products all have iMovie, which is a really great software. I've used it for a few years now. I've only recently just converted onto something else, and Windows obviously have Movie Maker, which equally is just as good. They might not be the most fancy of software, but they're really good for putting videos together, and you can actually get really great quality from them, and there's loads of different things you can do if you play around. However, if you wanted to spend a bit of money on a software, I personally use Adobe Premiere Pro, which I find to just be, for me now, really simple, but when I first started using it I just couldn't understand it at all. And there is also Final Cut Pro. And the great thing is you don't have to spend money on a software if you don't want to. You can edit on pretty much anything. But if you do get a software, my best piece of advice is to head onto YouTube and make sure that you watch some tutorials about how to use it. So with Premiere Pro being quite a new software for me, I've been looking online and on YouTube to find out how to do different things. So how to stabilize a clip, how to add a filter to a video, how to make the sound not so echoey because my bedroom is like a giant echo tunnel, or just different things like that, or even how to put a title into a video sometimes can be quite tricky. Even the most basic free software can be really great if you just learn how to use it properly. And my final piece of advice is to not care about your follower count. I know these days there's a lot of YouTubers that are flying up numbers, there's people that are stuck at numbers. It's not all about the follower count. You can make amazing videos and have 5 subscribers, but as long as those 5 subscribers love what you're doing, I think you're pretty much winning. And to be honest, I think for me, I'd rather create videos that I love and memories for me than focus on pleasing other people. So all my South Africa videos, while they were videos for you guys to kind of give a piece of travelling to people that maybe couldn't travel for whatever reason, it was also a way for me and Adrian to be able to look back in a few years and watch what we did. So we tried to capture as much as we could, because basically we wanted to remember absolutely everything. So we talked about Ellie falling off the horse because that's a funny memory that we want to remember forever. We talked about losing the laptop because that is again another memory that we want to think about. There's so many things now when I look back at the videos myself that I forget I even did. Like for example, we went on a little road trip one day with a few of us and we went swimming in this really beautiful waterfall, and I'd completely forgotten that we did it until I watched back the videos. And things like that, it's really nice because you can look back and almost see what you got up to, remember the memories, and by just watching that tiny little clip, like, it just makes me so happy. So I think for me, as long as I'm creating videos that I love and that I want to watch back and that I love and I'm passionate about, then I think that's kind of what you should be thinking about with YouTube. It's not all about the subscriber count or the amount of views you got. It is about doing something that you genuinely love, which I guess goes back to one of my first points. Just creating content that you love yourself. So that's the end of the video, guys. I really hope that I have given you some great tips if you are thinking about starting a channel. If there's anything that I've missed that you think should be a great piece of advice for starting a YouTube channel, don't forget to leave it in the comments below so that other people can see it, because I've probably forgotten something along the way, and it'd be great if we could all just support each other and give each other help and give each other tips. If you are already a YouTuber or you are new to YouTube, feel free to leave your link down below and I'll check out your channel, and I'm sure everyone else watching the comments will also check out your channel too. So yeah, I hope you liked this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys.